You know, what are we going to use the drones with? And in what sectors? Swapnik, talk to us about different usages that you would see. And do you really see these drone corridors, which are being talked about, being utilized in the days to come by various kinds of companies?
Yes, yeah, thanks for having me on. And I concur with the other panelists also. That's a very big day today, a very positive step. And to coming to your question, yes, air corridors will be very vital and crucial, I think, for adoption and the drones to become a factor in different industries. For example, there is trials that is being conducted by the Telangana government for medicine from the sky, where they want to set up routes or connections between different primary healthcare centers all across the state, and they want to use drones so that any kind of vital supplies, either it being blood, vaccine, or medicines that need to be shipped, they want to connect through drones, and establishing drone corridors will make it a lot more easier to do that, right? So you already have, and some of these medicines, say like antivenom, that needs to be supplied, or blood that needs to be sent for some emergency purposes. You don't want to sit and wait for some permissions. And if there's an already corridor established, everything is there, it becomes very simple and easy to do and very fast, and potentially will be very life-saving. And when you go to areas in maybe northeast or very hilly areas, these kind of drone corridors that are set up can be very big game changers, right? So the connectivity that it will provide for various reasons, for different purposes for the people, that can bring about the change that what is needed, not just roads, right? There might be different challenges with roads, so that's in the delivery space. But I think it's now, because of the rules being a lot more relaxed, you'll have different players coming in, and it's going to open up to scale for different players, and every industry from security to and surveillance to the construction industry or agriculture, where I see a lot of interest that we have received for the past 1 year. Even though we don't focus on agriculture purposes, but we get a lot of interest from farmers who are very keen to use drones. Right, so and they're not like big landowners, like big farmers that are coming and approaching us, right? They're average, normal farmers that they are aware of it, and they want to see how it will be used, and it's being used too. So it can potentially be a game changer. Yes. And these are some of the examples I'm giving, and we're still scratching the surface. I think going forward with the new rules for R&D, it's going to go into pretty heavy sector, and we can use drones for a lot of areas. It's a very exciting time right now.
Wow. Yeah, especially the part about ordinary farmers wanting to use drones to see what's happening with their land. Mr. Shah, what is the use case scenario right now? What is the extent to which we're using drones currently? Of course, we know the security establishment uses drones extensively. They're used for commercial shoots. So you see drone shots in a lot of entertainment content and all of that. They're very popular with weddings. But where can it go from here?
So both the public and the private sector has been using drones extensively. When we talk about the public sector, the government schemes as well as various departments, it's the Swamitva scheme, which is the largest scheme for mapping land records across the country. It's being implemented in 6.6 lakh villages, where multiple drones are going to be used to survey over a rural area. The landowners of each of these areas will then receive a property card to sort of end the debate of them whether holding their property or not, and then using it as a means to get financial help. So from something that basic, which is property card or land record entitlement, to PM Fasal Bima Yojana, which is another project where drones are going to be used for surveying and monitoring farms, to various applications in the private sector, which is mining sector, agriculture, both surveying as well as spraying of pesticides and herbicides in the various farms. In fact, if you see all the new highways that are being built, or the new metro projects that are coming in, or the dedicated freight corridors that are coming up, are all being surveyed and continuously monitored by drone and drone sensors. So that's the extent at which this can go. And mind you, all of these applications are just the basic ones. In just a few years, there are going to be too many companies that are going to be building, not just these basic survey drones, but something as big as a helicopter, which will be a drone taxi, in which probably me and you can sit and travel from one place to the other without any pilot on board. So that's the potential use of drone technology, including India.
I mean, that sounds fascinating. How many years out is that? Something like a drone taxi. I know the Civil Aviation Minister, Mr. Sindhia, talked about drone taxis today as well. And it all sounds very sci-fi and far-fetched. But is it really that far off, Mr. Shah?
In India, we will see the first drone taxi prototype taking off in less than 12 months. It will be a prototype. It may not have passengers ferrying in, but the first prototype built by an Indian company will be less than 12 months.
Okay, Mr. Luthra, what is the kind of use scenario you are seeing for drones right now? We've been talking about it and in very minimal terms of delivery, etc. But are you seeing more and more companies coming forward to adopt this technology? And what are the positives for them? Why are they interested in adopting this technology?
So at the last count, we had more than 120 use cases and applications in the civil sector. These are a wide variety of applications. Some of them have already been mentioned by my co-panelists, so I'll not repeat them. But at a macro level, the usage is broadly the most prominent sectors are what is called the DISHA, or D for defense, I for infrastructure, S for supply chain and retail. You have healthcare, and then finally the agriculture. Now, beyond these, in each of the industries, for example, if we take manufacturing as an example, within the manufacturing one plant, there are more than 20 odd use cases that can be taken from safety to security to compliance. I think the fact that you can have an eye in the sky that can not only, let's say, do a survey or do an audit compliance much more safely, or let's say with a much better capability and artificial intelligence being built on the drone or at the back end. These applications are now starting to take shape and be demonstrated by manufacturers as well as service providers. And I think the real opportunity here is not just the drone itself, but all the services and the data and the insights that can be delivered using drones. We have, let's say, the entire artificial intelligence being built on top of the drones and how that can help in digitizing various processes in delivering benefits to each and every sector that we can think about. And this is something that can be detailed out in many more forums. But I think by and large, I would really hard to find one sector that will not have an application using drones.